Baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium for a short homestand. The Royals are home for just 4 and a series against the Detroit Tigers. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel and Monty are coming up. It's been kind of a whirlwind for the Royals. Gone for 3, home for 4, back on the road again. The Royals are starting to score some more runs. They're averaging about 5 runs per game over the past week or so. And Jorge Soler's been right in the middle of that.
It's been great to see. A lot of people saying, what's up with Jorge Soler? When are we going to see this production? Well, it takes time. Let's remember, this guy's a young player. He's starting to find his groove. He's getting everyday reps, and he's finding that quote-unquote launch angle. And believe that, to get it over that monster, you got to have it. But timely hits have been coming off of his bat at a regular pace. Nice to see the production. He hope he can keep it up, although he can't keep up this torrid pace. It's been fun to watch.
And now Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers are in town, but the Royals need to figure out a way to get Jacoby Jones out. You see a team in the division as much as the Royals seed the Detroit Tigers, you really get a feel for who the players are that you can't allow to beat you. You get a feel for who the up-and-comers are. And one of the up-and-comers for the Tigers is Jacoby Jones.
Good-looking young talent, that's for sure. Reminds me a little bit of Mookie Betts. Now, not quite the experienced hitter, but he's hoping to be. He's an athlete. He can trust his hands, but he can be pitched to. You just can't make any mistakes. You see where these pitches are. They're out over the plate. If you want to beat him, you must execute. Hopefully, Skoglund can find some holes in that bat today.
And Eric Skoglund will be making the start today, coming off the best start of his major league career. Joel and Monty are coming up next.
coming off of the best start of his young career with the career high in strikeouts and innings pitched, and a second win. Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. So he got his first career win last year against the Tigers, waited until his last start. How about some keys today?
Yeah, I thought last start was really good for him, and if he's able to go out and really replicate what he did in his last start, he will be very good again today. And we're going to take a look at 3 of his keys to success today. First of all, he uses curveball so well to get ahead in counts, and then he uses it later on to put guys away. But I thought that was really a different look for him. Pitching downhill, you're 6'7", use that pitcher's mound to your advantage. And now, last time out, he gave a home run to the first batter, then he cruised. He's had trouble in the first and second inning, so get out of the gate a little better today and you'll be just fine. And he gave up that leadoff home run to Anderson and then retired 15 straight. No reason to walk on eggshells here at the K. It's school day at the K. More with Brian and Hud next.
Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Find yours at your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. School day at the K. Great day for the kids as the weather is slowly warming up, and so are the Royals bats. We'll see how they do against Mike Fiers and the Tigers when we come back. School day at the K. They got a weather demonstration before today's game by the Fox 4 weather team here in Kansas City. It is 76 degrees at first pitch. Here's the Tigers lineup today against Eric Skoglund. Miguel Cabrera will be the DH. He's been out with a biceps injury. No Victor Martinez. He has really struggled lately. Like the Royals, the Tigers don't hit many home runs, but they're among the best in the American League in doubles and triples, and they don't strike out very often. And now today, going up against Eric Skoglund, who struck out 9 in his last start against the White Sox.
Looking for a repeat performance. At least his pitching coach is talking with Cal, saying, hey, this young man, he's got to be able to repeat last outing and continue it up to become a regular in the rotation. So the pressure is not necessarily on him, but this is a huge start. You can see the overall numbers aren't exactly the way he wants them, but you know, his innings are. He's getting opportunity. That's the main thing. 19 strikeouts is pretty impressive, as he's not overpowering. His fastball, he might top out at 93. We might see some 94s, but he averages 91, which is plenty enough to be able to get big league hitters out. The important part, mix in the breaking ball and the changeup. The back leg breaking ball was really effective for him last outing against the White Sox, and I'm with Monty. Get ahead, work downhill with that big, tall 6'7" frame, and he's going to be a lot better. Hopefully, he can get off to a good start to gain some confidence.
There's our crew chief, Jeff Nelson, who's over by the Royals dugout. Looks like he's testing out the replay equipment. Manny Gonzalez, native Venezuelan, will be behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. That's Andy Fletcher over at third, and Laz Diaz, the one-time member of the United States Marine Corps, comes marching in from center field. And here are the Royals defensively.
John Jay's getting that call in left field. Alex Gordon in center. He absolutely loves it there. Jorge Soler, go ahead, throw somebody out. Let's see. He's got a really good arm. Dude is at first base, soft hands and nice footwork. Whitley, he can play second. Escobar, we wears the gold. Moose holding the anchor down at third base, can really go. Salvador Perez, he wears the gold as well, and an all-star. Go out there and perform today, and it's nothing better than a day game at the K, especially filled with future Royals players in the stands. Believe it.
Otherwise known as Scream Day at the K. A little different sounding cheer when the Royals do something exciting.
And that's good.
But they are into the game. Leonis Martin, who is a .267 hitter, but you put a left-hand pitcher on the mound and he's hitting .083. So Ron Gardenhire trying to find spots for him, get him in the lineup against lefties. And Skoglund's first pitch is down and away for ball 1. One ball, one strike. Well, it wasn't just his last start on Saturday against Chicago, but he's been getting a little bit better with every start. Now he took a big jump, obviously, but Ned Yost had been encouraged with the starts leading up to that one. Remember, he had the start, it was against these Tigers, where he struggled early. Ned Yost went out and gave him a pep talk, and then he really settled in. And then in his last inning, he walked a couple and came out.
Well, in each one of his 4 starts, they've seen enough to like what they're seeing. They know it takes time, just like it does a hitter to get hot for the season. Same way with a pitcher, especially with inexperience. And Skoglund's impressing the brass, the front office with his stuff, and the fact that he can compete.
Got him with a fastball.
Here it is. Long legs and arms are helpful to deceive the hitter as well as his stuff, but you got to have stuff at this level. And the hitters at this level will let you know if you miss.
Jeimer Candelario's out to a good start. And a breaking ball's in for strike 1. He's a switch hitter. a better hitter as far as the numbers go on the other side of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Monty, one of his keys for Skoglund's performance today was to get ahead with the curveball, and that was what he did here. First pitch curve, it's going to go back in there again. It's curveball, changeup, and now fastball. That's 3 of his pitches, which is really important, especially the curveball for strike 1. Puts in the hitter's mind, all right, he's confident he can throw that pitch for a strike. Now I got to be on guard for that. Chris makes his fastball look a little crisper, and the changeup to fool him. Breaking ball down. Good pitch.
Fouled it off of his own dugout.
That's the pitch that was so successful for him against the White Sox in his last outing. He was consistently down and backlegging that right-handed batter.
7 of his 9 strikeouts were with the curve on Saturday. Salvi asks for it again and then puts his glove right on top of the dirt to emphasize keep it down. Salvi saying if you're going to miss in the dirt. And it's out over the plate, but fortunately Escobar is right there for the out.
That's what you got the defense out there for. Played just right. Esky had it all the way. Okay, hey, this is a little interesting. You got to time that jump just right, but looked like he jumped a little bit soon, but he's able to hang there and get it.
So 2 down to Miguel Cabrera, who's hitting .326. He missed the previous 3 games with left biceps spasms. That's a first for me. I may have heard of biceps strains before.
Yeah.
And of course you always want to stay away from a biceps tear, but he was out with biceps spasms.
When you're 6'4", 240, he got muscles that I never even thought I had. So look, maybe he has those issues, but he can do whatever he wants. He's a phenomenal talent as a hitter.
Maybe you heard Dan Dickerson, the radio voice of the Tigers, on with Joel and Monty talking about Miguel Cabrera being back to his game-changing self. He's older now, so the numbers are going to decline. And he hits a fastball on the ground hard to Moustakas, who has time and throws him out. So Skoglund, who's had trouble in the early innings, has a 1-2-3 top of the first inning. We'll take a look at the Royals lineup today against Mike Fiers, and there are 4 hitters in particular who've done really well against Fires in the past. Mike Moustakas, Lucas Duda, who's back in the starting lineup today, Chesler Cuthbert, who's the designated hitter, and Alcides Escobar have all done well. And here is Fires, making his 5th start of the year.
I mean, you look at those numbers, those are okay for a guy that doesn't throw that hard. He's not going to overpower you. The innings 23, 15 strikeouts. He's not a strikeout pitcher. He's a finesse veteran who knows how to pitch. And he's going to get the most out of his game by locating. He's a locator. Fastball, changeup, slider, curve, and the fastball average velocity is 87. You see the opponents, what they're doing on that heater? Not much. And that's the key. If you can, that's the best pitch that pitchers have to set up their other stuff, and hitters love that the best. So it's impressive that lack of velocity has not hurt him one bit.
McCann gives him a high target, and it's lined to left field, sinking on Jones. So Merrifield down 0-2 has a leadoff single.
Mike Fires defensively behind him this afternoon. Jacoby Jones, a skillful left fielder. Martin can go get him in center, and Castellanos, he's learning every day in right field. His first year out there full time, he can do it. He's a good athlete. John Hicks, he's getting his 3rd start there this year at first base. Dixon Machado at second. Iglesias, a smooth fielding shortstop. And Candelario's a 3rd baseman. James McCann is behind the plate.
Fastball is inside on Jorge Soler, who was on base 7 times in the Red Sox series. On base percentage is .436. On the ground to Candelario. To second one. No double play. Machado had a little trouble with the exchange. So runner at first with 1 out.
Soler didn't exactly blister it either, so it took time, a little 3-hopper, and he couldn't get it out of his glove, or he hesitated a little bit when he was turning the ball, and it cost his Fires a double play. Good hustle by Soler.
Mike Moustakas with 1 out. He only had 6 plate appearances in the Boston series. A shift, but not a complete overshift against Moustakas.
Yeah, that's interesting. Moose will take it. He's got more lanes. He's a more complete hitter.
One ball, 1 strike. Moustakas was the Royals Player of the Month in April with these numbers. Jacob Junis was the Royals Pitcher of the Month in April. Two and one.
Most hitters understand the shift. Moose does, but look at this. This will tell you the complete hitter Moose is becoming. You stay in the middle of the field, you have a majority of opportunity to get your batting average up and more hits. Even though they're shifting a little bit more and they have that shortstop over the middle, Moose is hitting it hard and making some hard contact and getting those hits there. Keeps him in.
Chased one out of the strike zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mike Moustakas has come to the plate 14 times against Fires, and he's reached an 8 of the 14 times.
Being patient is the key off Fires. You got to let him come to you. Use the whole field.
Breaking ball at 69 miles an hour. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
McCann using his shin guards. Looks like a hockey goalie coming out of there. Just blocking that ball and keeping it from going to the backstop and letting Soler get into scoring position.
He shook off a changeup. He shook off a fastball. There goes Soler, and it's hit off the end of the bat foul.
Nice to see Ned moving Soler there. Try to stay out of a double play. But your job as a runner, though, is to not get picked off. If you're going 3 and 2, make sure they don't throw over and pick you off.
Soler runs again, and that is ball 4. So Moustakas has reached in 9 of 15 plate appearances against Fires. Fires is a great name for a pitcher, but he hardly fires the ball up there. You're talking about his fastball, and averages 87 miles an hour, but a very low opponent's average against it. And he's just hard to square up, Hud. I mean, these are pitches in the strike zone. And a fraction less than 11% line drives on balls put in play and pitches in the strike zone. It's the lowest in the major leagues.
Every little graphic, every sabermetric stat, all has an explanation. That tells me that he's an excellent pitcher with command. He can put the ball where he wants it, and if you can do that, we all know in this game it's all about a pitcher's location that will determine his success. It's not about the velocity, it's not about him blowing by hitters, it's all about location.
To the right side of the infield fly rule is called as Machado retires Salvador Perez. Now, if that was our sprint trivia question, name the top 3 pitchers in the major leagues with the lowest line drive percentage. I mean, I'd start with Kershaw and Scherzer,
Verlander.
Yeah, Verlander. I mean, it'd take a long time to get to Fires. It's only 4 starts, but it does underline that it's not about or only about velocity. So it's Lucas Duda, another Royals hitter who's done well in the past against Fires, with 2 on and 2 out.
He got Salvador Perez early in the count. Salvi's not happy about that.
James McCann is asking for a sign from Joe Vabra. He's the bench coach.
How about
sure
that?
Everyone's on the same page.
Interesting. I like the coach coming out of the dugout and letting everybody know what he's doing. Just in case the runners decide to steal, where they're throwing the ball, who's covering. Communication is the utmost in everything.
I'm going to predict, Hud, that if there's a throw to second base, that Iglesias will be the cover guy.
Exactly.
That's.
But you have to alert. They all got to know who's going where.
If Machado's the cover guy,
yeah, he's going to go
I'll
there.
eat my shoe. That's him out in shallow right field.
Yeah, but that's interesting. I don't remember seeing a coach coming out, standing up, and having everybody look at him.
Well, McCann was asking for it.
Yeah.
I think McCann, maybe he felt like Vabra being in the dugout that they weren't able to get a good look at him, so he got out of the dugout so that everybody could see where he was or what he wanted the defense to do. Joe Vabra was part of Ron Gardenhire's staff in Minnesota for many years. So was Steve Little. Steve Little's his bench coach. Joe Vabra, quality control.
Rick Anderson, the bullpen coach.
Yep, that was his pitching coach. Off the bag and into center field. That's a break for the Royals. Soler scores. That's probably an out to end the inning if it doesn't hit the bag and hop over Iglesias, and the Royals lead 1-0.
Excellent. As that ball left his bat, it had a beeline for the base, and rarely does it hit the base. And at this particular time, knowing that the second baseman, Machado, or excuse me, the shortstop, Iglesias, was there, he would have made the play and recorded it out. And look at Fires. Fires threw his hands up like, wouldn't you know it? That's how luck plays a big fat part of the game.
And then he didn't back up home plate. That throw from center hit the mound.
And that was another break. Martin has an excellent throwing arm in center field, and his throw hit the back of the mound, and that slowed it down and hopped it up there, almost went over his head. So far, so good on this beautiful day here.
2 for 2 in the break department.
That's right.
John Jay had 6 hits in the Boston series, including a 4-hit game on Tuesday night. He has spent most of the year as the Royals leadoff man, and now for the last week has batted 6th. So instead of in a table setting spot, Medios is hoping he can drive in some runs. One and two. Moustakas is at second. Duda is at first. And a base hit into right field. Mike Jersley's going to wave Moustakas to the plate. The throw will be cut off, and Duda goes to third. So John Jay is the number 6 hitter, does drive in a run, and it's 2-0 Royals in the first inning.
Royals haven't had any trouble scoring runs early, but what they have had trouble doing, getting hits with runners in scoring position. So far, 2 for 2. Nicely done. Jay dropped a nice little topspin lob out there to right field, scoring Moose with no problem. Skoglund's liking a little early run support.
So Chesler Cuthbert with runners at first and third. He hit his 3rd home run yesterday at Fenway Park. And he chases the first pitch. Hicks will run out of room.
Oh,
come on, Joel.
Joel, shake yourself. Do you need a net? Oh my gosh. You can't get an easier hop.
Gosh, put some hands on those hands.
Let's go. Clean it up. I mean, that
he looks good, though.
That was a candy hop if I've ever seen one. All right, I'll get over it. Sorry, Joel.
1 ball, 1 strike.
So thank goodness for replay. Look at our guy Goldberg down there. Check him out. Check him out. Watch this. Oh, let's get another look here. Okay, yeah, back it up. He had plenty of time. 2 hands, Joel.
Yeah.
We've learned that in Little League. Tester.
McCann is looking up into the sun, and he's got it. So the Royals get 2 runs on 3 hits with a walk and an error by Joel.
Wilson knows a thing or two about pitching and catching. And in talking to him, remember, he managed Eric Skoglund in the minor leagues at AA. And the first thing he wanted to talk about after that last great start, maybe the best of Eric's career, was the job of Salvador Perez. He said, that's the best job that I have seen Salvador Perez do behind the plate so far this year. And here's the reason why. He said Eric Skoglund toes the line between intensity and frustration, one of the most competitive guys that he's ever managed. And remember, that game began with the leadoff home run and some of the stuff with Tim Anderson. He said Salvi did a great job of keeping him calm and also calling the right pitches to get him into rhythm. One other note, his dad, Skoglund's dad, Lenny, told me on the trip that mound visit from Ned Yost against Detroit in the start before that did wonders for him. And guys, I'll take the error, but I wasn't willing to sacrifice the iPad.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm good with it.
Castellanos is on to begin the second inning.
But don't be afraid to stretch the arm out, okay? You alligator armed it, Joe.
In the first inning, we showed you how Skoglund had gotten a little bit better with each start and then took a big jump forward on Saturday. The same could be said for his swing and miss percentage, which has gone from 13% of his pitches in his first start to 24 on Saturday against the White Sox. Now keep in mind, the major league leader is Max Scherzer at 19%. So that was a very high rate for Skoglund, striking out 9 in 7 innings. And now Jacoby Jones with a runner at first base. Off the end of the bat, that ball's going to come back fair. So Duda tags him out.
Yep, stay
that ball
with it.
Started foul and spun fair.
Yeah, and you really, Kobe Jones, you know, he squared around to bunt the first time, but watch this English on the ball. Starts way foul, comes back in. That's why you always want to stay with it. And they did. Now, in case he bunted with that overshift there, those guys were communicating. Duda, Merrifield, Skoglund all looked at each other. They all knew where they were going to go when the ball came to him if he bunted again. So it was interesting to see them communicate that quickly after he showed bunt, just so they can have a reminder of what they're going to do. Because that's the thing about overshifting nowadays in the modern game. You know, the bunt is not used very much, but when it is used, it can cause a problem with your defensive shifts. Your guys better know what they're going to do with the ball when it comes to them.
Perfect timing. Talking about a bunt. This guy, John Hicks, had a walk-off bunt yesterday.
Fresh, so fresh. Great technique. Look at that, how he bent the back leg. You got to get down low. The barrel was above the hands, and he placed it perfectly. And you can't do it any better. A big, strong guy like that, bunting to win a game.
A high strike, 2-1 on Hicks.
So proud of him. His first walk-off ever. You would think that, you know, this guy would hit a homer and run the bases, and they'd throw all the Gatorade and everything on him, and nah, little simple little push bunt.
3 balls, 1 strike.
It was fun talking with Monty in the pregame show about that, about the little things and how important little things are in this game. You know, it was invented over 100 years ago, and small ball was a big part of it. Moving runners, hit and run, locate the ball, placing it where you want it, touch it, finesse. Instead, it's turned into a brute power game now. Strikeouts versus home runs. Let's bring small ball back.
I remember when Trey Hillman was manager of the Royals. He used to hate it when you referred to those things as the little things, because he felt like you're putting it in the player's mind that they're just little, they're not important. Those aren't little things, those are big things.
That's right. And when I use the term small ball, that means short, little bunts, little dribblers that go through the hole. That's what I mean by that, because it is, you're right, and Trey's right, it is a big part of the game. Here's what you do. Spring training, you put it in the mind of your players. You spread them out in the outfield out there. You get 4 guys and 1 guy, and you play a little pepper. Start playing a little bit of pepper, then you work on some bunting drills. 15 minutes is all you do a day on that. Every single day. That's how you start your day. That's how you get loose. And it's fun. Players have a good time. Bat control. I'm going to hit it to every guy in a row there. Watch this. Then they'll throw a bad pitch to you. You have to get on top, or you have to hit a little ball to the side there. You know, it works so much hand-eye coordination.
Called third strike. Both strikeouts have been with a fastball for Skoglund. 2 down in the second inning.
Another one of Monty's keys before the game, besides getting ahead with the breaking ball, was to have success in the early innings. Get some confidence. He did that first inning. First time he hadn't given up a run in the first. Pretty impressive. That's going to give him some confidence to get rolling, along with the 2 runs that were given to him by his offense.
Breaking ball strike on James McCann. One and one. Not just the first inning, but Skoglund's had trouble in the first 2 innings this year. He has given up 15 runs this season. 9 of the 15 have come in the first 2 innings. And entering today, his ERA in the first 2 innings was almost 12.
That's big, I'm telling you, for confidence.
Foul tip, 1 and 2.
Because, you know, we all know how important the mental side of baseball is. When you go in that dugout and you've given up some runs, you're going, and you just don't have a good feel. But when you go in there with a little lead, you didn't give up any runs, now you're saying, all right, big difference.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Joel brought up the home run by Tim Anderson, which was analyzed and overanalyzed with how he celebrated it. He and Salvador Perez had some words. I thought that Eric pitched with a little edge after that. And we saw some emotion after big outs. And I asked Ned Yost that question in our pregame interview today, and he agreed.
Yep, and I totally saw it myself. And you know, you saw it and you didn't hear it verbally. It's a body language game. I talk about it a lot because that's the premium language spoken. He looked good. Now, I did see him mouth get in the box to Abreu. Of course, Abreu didn't see that, but it just told me about his mentality. Get in the box. I'm going to get you. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Mound presence. That's a stat that's not written or seen on paper. It's seen by body language. It's sensed.
Got him to chase a fastball up and out of the strike zone. So all those strikeouts with curveballs on Saturday. Today he has 3 strikeouts, all with his fastball. And 2 scoreless innings from Eric Skoglund. As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the Hold True moment later in today's game. Alex Gordon, Alcides Escobar, and Whit Merrifield are coming up. Royals had 2 runs, 3 hits, and a walk in the first inning against Fires. And now Alex is thinking about a bunt.
Great idea. You show it, the defense, the game is scouted by the scouts. They'll tell him, hey, he'll show it.
Martin waits in center field with the sunglasses on. 1 down.
When he actually bunts, that's what makes the difference. Go ahead and do it.
Here's Alcides Escobar with 1 out. Remember, if the Royals hit a triple in today's game, the Kansas City Honda dealers will make a $1,000 donation to the Kansas City Urban Youth Academy. This is game number 364 in Alcides Escobar's impressive streak. Swings to the first pitch and pulls it foul. Up there aggressive against Mike Fiers. He's one of the Royals I was talking about in the first inning who's done well against Fiers in the past. Pulled foul again, and it's 0-2. He's the subject of our Kia Drive to Success. So Eske hits .438. He slugs .563 against Mike Fiers.
Outstanding. Now with 2 strikes on him, let's see if he can finesse him, just like Fiers going to try to do him. Finesse him. Work the whole ballpark. Shorten up on the swing. Get something you can get on base with. And you know, believe me, the players aren't spending all morning on a day game studying the pitcher. They just might look at a couple of his pitches on video, but you tell them they've had success off of that guy, that does more than anything else. He has that confidence already. I'm going to get him. I've got him before.
Jammed him, and Jones comes up in left field, 2 down. Another thing about Fiers that you wouldn't think immediately about a guy of his pitching style is he has a no-hitter. 3 years ago, shortly after being traded from the Brewers to the Astros, he no-hit the Dodgers. 3 walks away from a perfect game. It was the first in Minute Maid Park history.
Oh, fantastic.
Martin still going back in center field and runs it down. The wind started to push it at the end there, and Fiers, after a long first inning, gets the Royals in order in the second.
we stand ready to serve all military families.
Boy, that wind has really picked up coming out of the south. Strong thunderstorms passed through Kansas City shortly after we arrived from Boston with tornado warnings. Jose Iglesias is on to begin the third inning. And that'll bring up Dixon Machado. Celebrate one of the most dynamic players in Royals history with the Bo Jackson Flex Plan. This plan gives you the ultimate flexibility with 16 ticket vouchers to use during the remainder of the season. Download the MLB Ballpark app to pick and choose which remaining games you want to attend. For more information on the Bo Jackson Flex Plan, visit Royals.com/Bo.
He could flex.
Number 9 hitter Dixon Machado. Bunting right out in front of the plate. Salvi has a play at second base, and the Royals get the lead runner.
All right, nicely done. Now the perfectionist that Salvi is, he's bummed that he couldn't get it to Whitley in front of the base so he could turn a double play. Now you're not going to get Machado on most cases, but Salvi will take the out. He's bouncing. Yeah, look at mask goes off. Myers stays on the front foot. Says all right.
Looked like Machado was trying to push it to the right side.
He missed it. It's not an exact science, but you have a pretty good idea where you can bunt it. Sometimes you don't get the right pitch.
And now the top of the order, Leonis Martin. And he bunts. Moustakas charges, bare hands, throws late.
Great bunt. Something tells me that Ron Gardenhire in his first year as a skipper for the Tigers is incorporating the bunt and encouraging them to use it. It's a great technique. You don't have to be perfect, but the fielder does. Moose had nothing wrong with that play. Difficult play coming full momentum towards the home plate. Have to stop your momentum and throw it across your body. Not easy. It's not his first rodeo, though.
He had a lot of success with Minnesota. At one point, his Twins won the Central Division in 6 of 9 years. Ball one on Candelario. He lined out to Escobar at short in the first inning. Downstairs, 2-0.
Candelario hasn't grounded into a double play all year. 116 plate appearances. Maybe this is the time. 2-0. Hitter thinks he's going to get a good pitch to drive. Attack down in the zone.
Didn't pull the trigger. 2-1.
On the outer half.
Three balls, one strike.
Okay, now that piece of paper right there, if it stays there, someone will stop and pick it up, especially if it gets in between the hitter's view of the pitcher, and sure enough, that's some pocket garbage right there. Distraction.
Big pitch here with Cabrera on deck, and it is blasted to left field. And John Jay got a glove on it. One run is home. Here comes Martin. And Jeimer Candelario ties the game with a 2-run double.
John Jay on contact took off. Now he got a little bit twisted up when it came to his way he turned, but he still was on it. We've seen him go back on a lot of balls this year, and he's excellent at this. And he'll tell you, I should have caught that. Darn it, just off the end of his glove. But you know, sometimes it's tough to take the exact route when you go, but he stayed convicted with it and almost got it.
Inside on Cabrera, he grounded out to Moustakas in the first inning. So 9 doubles for Candelario and 14 RBIs, driving in Machado and Martin. Two and 0.
Last year, Cabrera was having issues with his health, but he refused to blame that on his slow start, and especially hitting against left-handers. He was under 200, and it was shocking to see a hitter of his caliber under 200 against any pitcher. And I went and asked him why, and he looked at me puzzled and said, I don't know.
Escobar makes the play on the fly. Two down.
And it was an honest reaction to a question that I asked him, and he just looked at me and I don't know, I can't tell you why. Yeah. Right, but later in the season, as his shoulder bothered him and his knee, and that's a good reason why. The guy's not healthy.
Nicholas Castellanos with Candelario at second base and 2 down. He singled to center field leading off the second inning, giving him 36 hits, which is in the top 10 in the American League. Fastball in on him. 1 ball, 1 strike. Candelario's back in time. Castellanos is off to a good start. He's hitting .303 overall, but if you put a left-hand pitcher on the mound, he is a .476 hitter. That includes his base hit today. His father was left-handed, so he got a lot of left-handed batting practice when he was a kid.
About it.
And has always had a good swing against left-hand pitching.
Yeah, there's a lot to that.
And most of the time, not every time, but most of the time, if a right-hand batter is good against left-hand pitching, he can go the other way. I mean, to me, without even seeing a guy swing, if you say, this righty boy, he's really good against lefties, he can go to right field.
That's right. I can agree with that.
If he's not very good, he's probably keeping the third baseman and the shortstop busy, and there's what right-hand batters who struggle against lefties do. They hook it on the ground to the left side. Candelario hits a 2-run double, and we're tied at 2. campaign designed to raise awareness about mental health issues and depression. Now a junior at North Kansas City High School, she created the program to get kids talking about mental health rather than hiding from the topic or being afraid to talk about it with others. And she is sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at today's game.
Ellie, Buck O'Neil would be so proud to know what you're doing. Keep it up. Such a need for awareness for that. A lot of young people get depressed at school. Got to talk about it.
Boy, Soler would like to have that back. 86 right out over the middle of the plate, but out in front just enough. And he pops out to Machado.
You know, Mike Moustakas, I like to use him, and when it comes to teaching moments, especially with the crowd here today and all the kids. Look at now, he's coming as a routine play. Watch how he gets on top with his arm stroke. Look at that. That is right over the top. You know what happens when you do that? Your ball stays straight. Even if it's slow, it gives the first baseman a better chance to pick it. A lot of guys throw sidearm, the ball sails. That's just how you make that play. Stay on top like you're throwing a dart.
He was on with a walk and scored one of the 2 runs in the first inning today. Mike Moustakas was a very good high school quarterback, and then he broke his leg, and so his senior season he focused only on baseball, but he also has a really good arm stroke for throwing a football. That's a good swinging stroke, and Martin got all mixed up, and he kind of gave up on that line drive, and it sailed over his head for a double.
Wow, you could tell by the sound of that. That was loud. Moose jumped all over that heater. I mean, on contact. Now, let's show you real speed. We'll show you center fielder at top. Hardest ball, Rhino. You can vouch for this. That's the toughest ball to judge. He turned him around and twisted him like a pretzel, but then he decided, well, since it's over my head, we'll just concede a double.
I don't know if he saw it. He almost looked like he turned his head because he didn't want to get hit in the face.
It almost hit him in the back of the head. If he had thrown his glove up there, he might have caught it. But good for Moose. He'll take it.
Yeah, that looked to me, you know, at regular speed, I thought, boy, he gave up on that too soon, but I'm not so sure he saw it. And now the sun is behind some clouds, so he doesn't need his sunglasses. Look out, Salvi. 1 ball, 1 strike. He popped out to Machado at second base in the first inning. Now, I mentioned Jorge Soler would like to have the pitch back that he popped up to second base.
Yep.
There's a term that I think applies to a guy like Fires. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You can take a comfortable 0 for 4 against him. Meaning the hitter's comfortable in the box. You think you're just going to rip him to shreds, and he finds a way to get you to just miss. Makes a living getting you to just miss.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I've been there before, and I can tell you what, he's a crafty righty. I mean, that term is given to lefties that are soft tossers that, you know, kind of give you frustration, give you fits, but you'll pull your hair out on the way home, I guarantee you. In the car, you're going, oh, really? But good for Mike. And that inside pitch to Salvi, that's a big pitch for him. To back the hitters off. Salvi took a rip there. He liked that 80, tried to pull it. Okay, you can see now he's got everything going right. He just reached for it. A little bit out in front. Had he thought about hitting that ball to right field, he probably would have hit a gapper and scored the run. Now maybe he can go to the other side of the field, although he likes to pull.
He pulls that one deep to left field, and the Royals have another 2-run lead.
Would you try to water the right field garden when you can do that in front of 1,000 kids today at the ballpark? Way to make them come out of their seat, Salvi. Tried to sneak a piece of cheese by a hungry Salvi. You just can't do it. 88, not so great. Salvi says, turn and burn. Look at that freeze. Yeah, perfect. You could draw lines on that all day with the symmetry, and that ball is going out. It is launching. Like it. Good balance all over the place on that. Salvi, he'll take it, and so will Skoglund.
Salvi, unlike several of his teammates this year, he's done very well against right-hand pitching this year. A lot of his teammates have been wearing out lefties, but Salvi this year is 12 out of 31 against right-hand pitching. Both he and Mike Moustakas have impressive numbers against righties. Whit Merrifield, Jorge Soler, Alcides Escobar, to name a few, they have worn out the lefties. 2-2 on Duda. He drove in a run with a single in the first inning.
Statcast on Salvi's homer, launch angle 26. That's right, he got it up there, and of course with the breeze helping it, there was no chance that it was going to stay in the ballpark.
Fires strikes out his first, 2 down.
Folks, watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices, blackouts, and no other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.com/TV for details.
John Jay chops it out to Machado. That's the inning. Jay drove in a run in his first at bat, so the Royals got 2 in the first. Tigers tied it, and the Royals get 2 more in the third. World as golf's greatest field competes in the 100th PGA Championship. Limited tickets remain for Monday's opening day through Thursday's opening round. So don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see Major Golf's strongest field. Visit PGAchampionship.com for full information. Salvador Perez gives his pitcher a 2-run lead, and Eric Skoglund gets a fastball by Jacoby Jones. Salvi drove in Mike Moustakas with his 2-run home run. Moustakas had just doubled. Good location, and it's 0-2 on Jones. He has hit 5 major league home runs. 4 have been against the Royals. 2 this year, including a walk-off home run on April the 20th. You compared his athletic ability to Mookie Betts. And then Dan Dickerson, the longtime radio voice of the Tigers, was on with Joel and Monty, and he said, and Dan's seen some good teams, a couple of World Series teams. Jones is down on strikes. Skoglund picks up his 4th strikeout. Dan Dickerson said that he's one of the most exciting players he's seen in a Tigers uniform.
Believe it. That Mo Lottery replay right there was a perfectly executed pitch. That's one of the reasons that Skoglund is on his way to back-to-back fantastic starts. Yeah. Athleticism. You can win with it, and that's a gapper.
It is sinking, and it hits the wall. So John Hicks will check in at second base with 1 out. He is 1 for 2. He took a called 3rd strike last time up, so you knew he was going to be hacking at some point in this at bat, and he went after the first pitch.
Yep, nice controlled swing on a elevated pitch. 3rd double on the year. Changeup, middle. Fortunate for Skoglund, it stayed in the yard. Athletes win you titles, win you championships. You can win with those guys. Ned knows.
McCann struck out on a fastball that was about a foot out of the strike zone. Look out. Uh-oh, we've got a problem. First of all, thank goodness for the netting. A few years ago, that ends up in the seats, and that's dangerous. A spinning bat flying into the seats, but it got caught in the netting, and look at that guy. Right before he gets thrown out of here, he got a bat. Can't do that.
Wow. It's okay. Isaac's only doing his job.
Yep.
He's just doing his job.
Can't have everybody climbing on the dugout when they feel like it.
Boy, I'll tell you, he was on that in a heartbeat. Gonna happen once in a while. You get fooled and you lose the grip, but you know, rarely do you see it anymore. They go into the stands because of the netting, but that net hooked them up. That's a 10-pounder.
2 balls, 1 strike.
One little tug on the net, dropped right to his hands, got an ovation, and now you got to give it up. Sorry, sir. Thanks for coming.
We're with you, Isaac.
He took it well. He took the booing well.
Good composure.
Very good.
Yep.
It looks like he's been booed before.
Isaac, by the way, you know, he didn't mince any words there. I mean, give me the bat, see ya. No explanation. But I think when that guy thinks about it, you can't have people walking around in the dugout.
Exactly.
He's lucky he's still,
you know what,
sitting in his seat.
He is, and that's a good thing. That'll tell you how kind they are here.
McCann goes back into center field. Alex's throw will be cut off, so the Tigers answer with a run right after the Royals got 2. So Hicks struck out his first time. He doubles. McCann struck out his first time. He drives in a run.
McCann, he recognized the breaking ball right away, pulled his hands inside and just went with the pitch. Nicely done. Came in today hitting .438 off of left-handers, able to recognize the pitch.
Tigers have 6 hits in the first 4 innings. Actually 6 hits in the last 3, because Skoglund Got the Tigers in order in the first. Iglesias has one of those base hits. He singled to left his first time up. And hits it right out to Merrifield. Going to have to hurry. And Escobar realized there was no play at first. Really didn't hit it hard enough to be a double play. So Iglesias is on with 2 down. Skoglund, in that terrific start against the White Sox on Saturday, he faced only 3 batters in 7 innings pitching out of the stretch. And he was in the windup all day. He gave up that home run to Tim Anderson to lead off the game. Then he retired 15 in a row and 19 of 21 after the home run. So he's had to divide his attention between runners and hitters a lot more today than he did on Saturday.
This is good for him as he continues to mature and improve, and as he gets better and better, he's going to have to learn how to do it all. But the one thing that Cal Eldred told me today before the game they're looking for is consistent outings from Skoglund now. Now do it. Bottle that first real good start, his last start, up and repeat it.
Now Machado goes the other way. Soler cuts it off before it gets into the corner, and he fires to second base. And the Tigers have 3 more hits in the 4th inning, and they have runners at second and third.
You can credit Machado for again recognizing the pitch and going the other way. Hey, that's outside fastball on the outer half, but it's elevated. It makes it so much easier to go that way with a pitch you can see up. And Iglesias, he's on his horse. Soler, nice job of getting to the ball. Thought he could get him at second base, and Machado, had Dave Clark, the third base coach, sent Machado home, or excuse me, Iglesias, I think they would have nailed him. So that was a good call on Clark's part.
Down and away on Martin, who laid down a beautiful bunt for a single in the 3rd inning. He might do that again. Skoglund struck him out in the first, and Martin has really struggled against left-hand pitching this year. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
You're right. Look, if he just takes one with him this way, that's an easy RBI now, but he's got another RBI sitting out there too. Sometimes a hitter will say, I want to get them both in. Hitters have pride too.
Close, but Manny Gonzalez says it's outside, 3-0. The Tigers had 1 base runner in the first 2 innings. 6 in the last 2, and now make it 7. That's Skoglund's first walk, and now they're loaded up for a guy who's already driven in 2 runs today. Jeimer Candelario has hit the ball hard twice. He lined to short in the 1st inning and then doubled to left off of John Jay's glove in the 3rd inning. And he hits in front of Miguel Cabrera, which would be a good spot to hit in a lineup.
Sure would be. You're going to get something to hit, but he better execute. Skoglund's got to put that ball right there. Stay down, attack down, use that big, tall 6'7" frame of his, and attack the zone low and make a pitch and get out of this inning.
Oh, 0-2.
Back in the 3rd inning, we'll see what he did on an inside fastball. Now that ball was hit well. Jay had a hard time with the judgment of the ball, but knocked in a couple of runs with that swing. Nothing too good now. Make sure when you're ahead in the count. Trust Salvi to block anything in the dirt. There you go.
This time around, he gets him on 3 pitches. So the Tigers get 1, and they leave the bases loaded. Boston. The Rangers watched Edwin Encarnacion hit 3 home runs. He drove in 6, and the Indians blew out the Rangers 12-4. Like a nice warm day in Cleveland yesterday. Nice catch. Brought his glove, Hud.
Gotta have it. Don't leave home without it.
Ball 1 on Chesler Cuthbert. He fouled out to the catcher McCann in the first inning. Cleveland is playing right now, and they're trailing 2-0 to the Blue Jays. They're just in the second inning. They've got a doubleheader today. Two balls, 1 strike. All right, that leads into our sprint trivia question. Name the 5 players this season to record 3 home run games. Wow, there's already been 5. Well, we know 2 of them right off the bat.
That's nice. They kind of gave us
so the 5 players, not the 5 times. 5 players, because Mookie Betts has done it twice.
They gave us a candy question today. But you know what was helpful in Boston? You and Denny helping us out, man. Me and Fizz really appreciate that. So good. Well, didn't Matt Davidson do it against us opening day?
He did. So there's 3 of the 5. Betts, Encarnacion, and Davidson.
What could he be looking for? Oh, man.
Look out. If we were playing in a dome stadium, that would have been very close to hitting the roof.
He really
Didn't I think that was a 2 home run game.
We got to make sure we let them know if we're talking amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
They'll charge us for any name that we drop as a strike.
I understand you had to explain the rules to Fizz in Boston.
Fizz rattled off 4 names. Now that's going to reach the seats. Foul. He rattled off 5 names in one breath, and I said, Fizz, thanks a lot. We're out of the game now. Good job. 5 names in one breath, and we were done. Couldn't even say
he wasn't aware that we had a rules change during the offseason. Off the knuckles.
Chesler is giving souvenirs left and right.
Another foul ball. Here's our Toyota League leaders, and the Tigers are among the best as far as starting rotation ERA. Another foul ball. Well, the other teams in that list would be the first place Red Sox, the first place Indians, the first place Astros, and the second place Yankees.
Yeah, I was saying, you know, you would expect some of those teams there to be on top, but not the Tigers. Astros for sure. They got 5 aces on their staff.
That was pitch number 11.
Yeah, he finally beat him.
So it's still a quality at bat in that he made the pitcher throw 11 pitches.
But that goes along the lines with what you said about having a comfortable offer. There's an Arizona hitter that had 3 home runs this year too. I can't think of his name. Oh, man.
That ball's not coming back. Alex Gordon has another home run. Man, that ball got up into the water spectacular. And some guy with a bad Corona t-shirt has a souvenir.
Way to let the line out, Alex. Nice stroke. Man, is he feeling good. Check this out. He's not messing around. First pitch fastball. Actually, excuse me, changeup. He says, I can wait on that. Look at that, Alex. He knows right away. What a beautiful feeling to be able to do that. Hitter is the first one to know he got it all. The pitcher is usually the second. And the fan, he's the third that caught it off the top of the fountain. So nice to see that production from Alex Gordon. Ball hit a long way, 422 feet, 109 exit below. You want launch angle? You got it, 30 degrees.
1-1 on Escobar. You know, he was getting hits before he went on the disabled list, but he is swinging the bat a lot better, hitting the ball a lot harder since coming back. Martin makes a tumbling play in right center field to take an extra base hit away from Alcides Escobar.
What a nice play. And Fires is shaking his head saying, I'm giving up a lot of distance this inning, but thank goodness for Martin, and he took the perfect route this time. Oh, and Escobar, as he rounds first base, he's looking saying, are you kidding me, man? Come on. Give a guy a break. Nice play. Good jump. If you're an outfielder here at the K, the most spacious outfield in baseball, you're seeing that wind up there. You better play a little bit deeper than normal.
Merrifield is single to left, and he's flied out to deep center field. He had a good rip at a fastball that was up. Got underneath it. Castellanos comes up in right field, and that's the inning. Alex Gordon hits a bomb to right field, and the Royals lead is 5-3. Royals have had 3 different 2-run leads. 2-0, 4-2, and now 5-3 as Alex Gordon hits his second home run in the last 3 days. So Miguel Cabrera leads off with nobody on base. He has grounded hard to third and lined to short. So a tough luck 0 for 2. Cabrera, Castellanos, and Jones are coming up. Good swing at a fastball. One thing I'll always remember about Eric Skoglund's big league debut was when Miguel Cabrera came up in the first inning and just kind of nodded at him. Just acknowledged, welcome to the big leagues.
Classy move.
Now I'm going to try and pulverize whatever you throw over the plate, but welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right. And you know, these guys have been hitting here for years, and so when they see some fresh meat come in, man, they're like, whoa, yeah. They lick their chops, but because of that nice pitch, Cabrera, he's got to go.
6 strikeouts for Skoglund. The Royals would like to thank the many students and teachers at Kauffman Stadium today for School Day, presented by Price Chopper and hosted by the Fox 4 weather team. This was the 20th in Kauffman Stadium history. A lot of great science experiments and weather demonstrations on the field as always. It gets better every year.
With technology, for sure. But I tell you, coming into the K today, seeing all the cars, I was like, wow, what's happening? Because, you know, we kind of forget about things that's going to go on, especially when we come back from a road trip. And then to come into the K and see all the seats taken in the lower bowl, that was fresh. Way to go. Teachers and schools and Fox 4 for making it happen. That's going to be trouble.
And it is going to be a home run for Castellanos. Royals might want to take another look at it, although John Jay didn't argue in left field. Probably hit an empty seat and bounced back on the field. Castellanos is 2 for 3, and the Tigers just won't go away. They keep answering the Royals. It is now 5-4.
Pesky ball club. Low expectations. Breaking ball down, not quite down enough. Castellano, who normally likes to hit the ball to right field, hooked it. He'll take it for his 3rd of the season. And 2 out of those 3 are against the Royals.
And 2 on Jacoby Jones, who is 0 for 2. Stockas backs up to get a big hop and then shows off his arm to throw out Jones.
Yep, you have a decision to make when the ball's hit at you if you're a third baseman. Read the hop. Do you go get it or do you take the long hop? Moose says, all right, 2 long hops, I'll back up. Got time. Part of the read. Got to know who's running. That's a big help. If the guy's fast, you better go get it. If you don't, it's got to be hit firmly.
John Hicks struck out in his first at bat, then he doubled and scored in the 4th. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Royals have scored in 3 of 4 innings. The Tigers have scored in 3 of 5 innings. 1-2. Just missed down and away. Skoglund has struck out 6 in his first 4 2/3 innings. He did not go around. Jeff Nelson is the first base umpire and crew chief. And now Skoglund's about to make his 88th pitch. That's Skoglund's second walk, and Hicks is on with 2 outs. If you can't catch the game on TV, you can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, just log in and stream the Royals. It's presented by T-Mobile. James McCann is struck out, and he has an RBI single.
Now McCann, he has the everyday job to catch for the Tigers, and he's established himself over last season. But what's impressive is John Hicks, who just walked. John Hicks is a backup catcher and slash first baseman. He's making a niche for himself. Got his first career walk-off bunt yesterday, but he's, you know, Hicks is doing what a lot of young minor league catchers or pitchers or players want to do, and that's just get up here and perform and produce and find a role, and that's what he's doing.
Outside 2-0. Scott Barlow warms up in the Royals bullpen. Hicks can also play third base. Three balls, no strikes.
Skoglund missing a little bit off the plate here. Was wondering about his mechanics, seeing if he can repeat them. You know, as tall and long as he is, sometimes when you get tired towards the end of an outing, I'm not saying he's tired, but he's missing a little bit. He's off. Two outs here. He wants to get back in this count and get out of the inning.
Three and one.
There you go.
And that was a borderline pitch.
Yeah, he hasn't gone over the 100 pitch mark all year. The most he's thrown in an outing was 2 outings ago against these Tigers at 94 pitches. So he's close to that. This might be it for him. So he wants to find a way to wiggle out
and qualify for the win.
That's right. Get a pop up from McCann right here.
Instead, a walk. Iglesias is coming up. He's a .216 hitter, so you don't think of him as being a threat. But Ned Yost has seen a home run and 2 walks in this inning. And after 93 pitches, Ned says that's enough. Scott Barlow is a Chevy call to the bullpen. line. He gives up 4 runs. He's still responsible for 2 runners, but 4 runs in 4 2/3. That after he retired 6 of the first 7 and had an early 2-0 lead. He had a 4-2 lead, a 5-3 lead, but after walking Hicks and McCann, Ned Yost goes to Scott Barlow.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, he just couldn't quite finish, but here's an opportunity for Barlow in his second big league appearance to do something now.
I was impressed on Monday at Boston.
I was too.
A blowout game, but he came in throwing strikes.
Yep, he's got a good fastball, mid-90s, low to mid-90s. A quality curveball too. It's a secondary pitch, a slider, changeup.
Scott Barlow, just like Eric Stout, struck out his first major league hitter. He struck out Christian Vasquez on Monday. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and really saved the bullpen that night. He ended up giving Ned Yost 3 innings, gave up a couple of runs. One of the runs was unearned. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Iglesias, he's not looking up there in the zone. He's looking for it down. But you know, Barlow's trying to get him chase. You got a good fastball like that, sometimes it looks hittable.
Slider is hit to right center field and down. And the Tigers are going to tie the game. Iglesias stayed back on a slider, and he goes the other way and drives in Hicks. That run is charged to Skoglund, and it is 5-5 in the 5th inning. And Iglesias may have hurt himself.
Detroit Tigers doing an excellent job of using the opposite field and not trying to do too much with their bats. Soler got it before it got to the wall. Now he slipped. It looked like he did something before he slipped to his leg.
Well, it wasn't exactly textbook running around first base. He had his eye on the ball in the outfield, and he did not hit the inside corner of the bag when he rounded first base. I don't know, maybe it looked like he hit the outside corner of the bag and maybe twisted a knee or an ankle.
Yeah, you know, when you're not watching the bag, and you're gonna look for trouble. Look like it maybe it's his left leg, it's his calf. But anyway, he's gonna stay in the game.
First and third for Dixon Machado. Scott Barlow was a minor league free agent. The Dodgers did not put him on the 40-man roster, but the Royals gave him a major league contract. Very rare for a player to get that with no major league experience. The Royals, and we usually find this out when they acquire a player in a trade, or in Barlow's case sign him in the offseason. It's usually a player they've had their eye on for a while. Caught by Duda. That saved a run. So the Tigers get 2, and it's 5-5 to the bottom of the 5th. tied it with a single. So 5-5 to the bottom of the fifth. And now Rodden Gardenhire goes into his bullpen. Chad Bell is a Chevy call to the pen. The Royals will be seeing him for the first time this year. They faced him before this year, but he had not been called up during the first 2 trips to Detroit.
Left-hander, a little 2 and 4 seam fastball. Low to mid 90s. He likes to sink the fastball. Slider, curve, changeup. Tries to keep him guessing, like they all do.
Jorge Soler is 0 for 2. He has scored a run, reaching with a fielder's choice in the first inning. He has reached safely in his previous 17 games. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's a career high for him. And he has really roughed up lefties this year. And he roughs him up again. Man, the ball's flying today. Jorge Soler cleared the fountains in left field and got it up into the hedges. And the Royals take another lead, 6-5.
Just couldn't say it soon enough, Rhino, how good he hits left-handers. And when you can't trick him and make a pitch, that ball's elevated on the outer half of the plate. Long arms, long legs. He's able to get extended. He knew right away that ball was not coming back. I think that qualifies for a Soler system shot, no question about it. He's got mega power.
Wow. You don't see many balls end up where that ball ended up. So a 9-game hitting streak, and now that streak of reaching base is 18. But that ball hit the concrete wall up by the fountains and bounced almost all the way up to Joel and Monty's set.
Yeah, very impressive. You could tell by the sound.
Now Mike Moustakas hits it hard to right. Castellanos was set up perfectly. That's the first time Moustakas has been retired today. You don't expect to get a souvenir up there.
Okay, look at that. See how the hips are an important part of a power hitter's swing. Now he's got to be able to barrel it, and on the sweet part of the bat, that's exactly what happened. The hips go first. Here comes the hands right through. 2 hands on the bat. I like the 2-hand follow through. He can do it both ways.
Fair ball. So Chad Bell has come into the game. He's given up a home run, a line out to right, and now double to left. Salvi's 2 for 3. He had a 2-run home run back in the 3rd.
Okay, look at right away, looking to capitalize. 92 top of the zone, that's just above the belt. Really, that ball was lucky it didn't leave the ballpark. Salvi caught the top half of it and is able to rifle it right down that left field line. Salvi will take it for his 3rd double. Nice to see the Royals hitters starting to come alive now. They're starting to feel good about themselves. They're gaining some confidence, and they're getting some hits with runners in scoring position. I think we knew it'd just be a matter of time.
They have scored in 4 of 5 innings today. They have scored 6 runs, and their average is over 5 runs per game the past week, which is not a huge number. Remember, the Royals in their first 24 games averaged a little over 3 runs per game. Lucas Duda's driven in a run today. 1 ball and 1 strike. He was going through a bit of an RBI drought. Terry Bradshaw is going over the Chad Bell scouting report with Chesler Cuthbert. And Terry's sleeping a little better at night over the past week as the offense is starting to score runs.
Yeah, he's happy for his hitters but he has done absolutely nothing wrong at all during his first tenure here. He's a hard-working guy, always shows up early, helping the guys with extra hitting, going over videos. He's doing his job. Hitters start doing theirs now, and it's looking good.
Duda's out in front, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Iglesias is messing with Salvador there at second base, trying to threat like he's going to pick him off. Salvi's not going anywhere. I hate to tell you that.
Floated into shallow left field, and Salvi's going to be waved home on Jones. His throw is up the line, and Duda goes into second base. And the Royals have their 4th 2-run lead today, and we're only in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Action galore. Look at that nice swing by Duda. 85 breaker. Salvi on your left of the screen, bringing the mail home. Inside part of the base, that's proper. He says, I'm gonna score, and he does. Got his uniform dirty. Check him out. Look at it. Yeah, buddy. Bringing it all the way home for the kids here on school day at the K. Excellent baseball game they're witnessing.
One and one on John Jay. He's driven in a run today. He got Moustakas to the plate back in the first. And now he has Duda at second base with 1 out. That'll be back into the crowd. Machado goes to the middle and throws out John Jay. Duda goes to third. So now Cuthbert with a runner at third, 2 down. Look at this, Hud. The Royals coming into today, we know they've been struggling with runners in scoring position. Yeah, the exact same average last year through 30 games.
Unbelievable. I mean, numbers line up, but that's just crazy. And we've seen it before. Obviously, we knew it's a matter of time before the fellas started coming out, and they'll continue.
Inside, 2-0 on Cuthbert. He is 0 for 2. Well, today, the Royals are 4 out of 7 with runners in scoring position.
That's what we're talking about. Nice job. Get those big hits.
Two and one. Chesler hit the rare right-handed pesky pole home run yesterday in Boston.
Didn't he, though?
Getting it just inside that short right field foul pole. Two balls, 2 strikes. Denny and I were talking about on radio. I don't know. I mean, obviously that wouldn't have been a home run here. I don't know if that ball would have been fair here because it was slicing. And, you know, without any seats, if that ball keeps slicing, that might have been a foul ball at Kauffman Stadium. Bell gets a strikeout. So that ends the bottom of the 5th inning, but the Royals scored 2 runs for a 3rd time today. News around the major leagues. More bad news for the Dodgers. Earlier this week, our University of Kansas Health System injury report update. Corey Seager needs Tommy John surgery, so he is done. Dodgers have already had problems. Justin Turner broke his wrist in spring training. Yasiel Puig is on the disabled list right now. And the Dodgers at the moment are 13-17. They are 8 games back of Arizona in the West.
Yeah,
that's it. Just
tough
tear
start.
the Hollywood sign down.
Fold up the tent.
Yep.
It's over.
Shut down the beaches. It's over. Leonis Martin is on base for a 3rd time today. Tigers have 10 hits already. And now Candelario will come up as a left-hand batter. He drove in 2 with a double in the 3rd inning. Oh, 0-1.
Tell you what, Barlow, this is a good opportunity for him. They're hitting. Tigers are hitting him hard. He's going to have to stay out of that middle of the plate, execute his pitches. Stay down in the zone. They hit it. Hopefully, they hit it at somebody.
If you're wondering how we got to 7-5, the Royals got 2, the Tigers tied it. The Royals got 2, the Tigers got 1, the Royals got 1, the Tigers got 2, the Royals scored 2.
Yeah, no, I love it. This is an excellent ball game, especially for the fans to watch. The young people are here today. Good to see a lot of action.
Two and one on Candelario. Talking to members of the Tigers organization before today's game and asking them about players who are playing well or players that are really standing out. Candelario's name kept coming up. Young player they got from the Cubs last year in a trading deadline deal, switch hitting 3rd baseman. That moved Castellanos to right field. Left center field, and Alex Gordon runs it down in the gap. So Candelario is 1 for 4, and Martin is back to first. Hope to see you here as we salute the Negro Leagues on Sunday. The first 10,000 fans through the gates receive a vintage Monarchs hat, sponsored by Pepsi. I'll be wearing mine.
Okay.
And then you can watch the Royals and the Tigers take the field, sporting uniforms inspired by the early 1920s.
That's gonna be fun. Dress to the nines, folks. Join us.
Always look forward to visiting with Bob Kendrick, who is always kind enough to stop by and visit with Joel and Monty.
Always.
And with us.
Always love having him, and he's welcome anytime he wants to come. It's special. And you know what? As much as I'll try to outdress him, it's not possible. He's dressed to the nines every day he gets out of bed. He dresses up.
0-2 from Barlow to Cabrera. And on Sunday, the Royals will be wearing the uniforms of the Monarchs and the Tigers of the Detroit Stars. Cabrera was 0 for 3 against Skoglund. So Detroit scored 5 runs on 8 hits against Skoglund in fewer than 5 innings, but Cabrera had nothing to do with it. That looked like a swing. No swing. Jeff Nelson had to turn his attention quickly from Cabrera's check swing to a play at first base.
Okay, let's check him out. Did he swing? I think he attempted a swing. Salvi, quick snap throw. It looked like to me he offered, but I'm sitting all the way up here. Nelson has a better view than I do.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Hard hit. Escobar got a glove on it and almost was able to roll it unintentionally over to Merrifield. And Miguel Cabrera's first hit today is an infield single.
Too bad. Eskew hoping that ball would have stayed in his pocket. Instead, he kind of highlight flipped it over to second base. Didn't mean to. It didn't get enough on it, or else it forced the runner. Good try. Ball's coming at him at a high velocity.
And now 2 on for Castellanos, who has 2 hits, including a home run. And Barlow goes right after him with strike 1. Castellanos has homered 3 times this year. 2 have come against the Royals. Shallow center field, and it drops in front of Alex Gordon. Leonis Martin read it right away. He didn't hesitate, so he scores easily, and the Tigers score in the 6th inning. So they've scored in 4 of their 6 innings, and now Cabrera is walking off the field. First the pitch to Castellanos. He didn't hit it very hard.
No, it's a jam shot.
Miguel Cabrera just started walking off the field.
Yeah,
so
well,
he knew he was done. He didn't wait for the manager and trainer to get out to him.
No, and he went when he was at first base after that infield hit. He was bending over and acting like there was something wrong with him. I could tell. Barlow just had a little bit of some bad luck and also a little bit too much at the plate at times.
And now Ned points to the bullpen. So Barlow comes on. He faces 6 and gives up 4 hits, all singles. And he'll depart with 1 out and runners at first and second, and hand the ball off to Blaine Boyer. Two on and 1 out. in a 7-6 game in the 6th inning. And Ned Yost is hoping to get a ground ball and a double play with McCarthy on the mound. 9 appearances and a 2.53 ERA. And McCarthy on Tuesday night faced 9 and retired 9.
Really impressive what he did there at Fenway Park. Now he kept it in the ballpark. Now here's what his key is really first pitch, hard, heavy sinkers down in the zone. That's what he throws. Anywhere low to mid 90s. Slider, curve, change. He's got 4 weapons.
One and one on Jacoby Jones. McCarthy became the first Royals reliever to retire at least 9 batters since Will Smith against Minnesota 5 years ago. Line to Escobar, and Goodrum, who came in as a pinch runner, is going to be doubled up at second base. So he didn't get a ground ball double play, but he got a double play nonetheless. And the Tigers are finished in the 6th.
Not the way he wanted it, but certainly take it. Followed through after the homer. I mean to tell you, he got it all. Change up. He just really got the back underside, lifted. Launch angle was great. Good to see it.
And now Alex sees the lefty Chad Bell. Royals scored 2 against Bell when he came on in the 5th inning. They scored 5 in 4 innings against Mike Fiers. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alex leads off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Rhea Luttrell from Wamego. The Royals hit a home run out of the park. That's worth $1,100. How about a base hit into center field? And Alex Gordon has a 2-hit game. He was getting hits before he hurt his hip, but he wasn't doing it with the same, well, by today's terms, with the same exit velocity as he has since the disabled list.
No, and it's great to see it. He's squaring some balls up. He's got some confidence now. They need him badly in his production. Nice to see it. 2 home runs now in 3 days.
Escobar was bunting for a base hit. Alex Gordon is hitting .357 with both of his home runs. And all 5 of his RBIs since the disabled list. Escobar grounds it to deep short, and Iglesias has no play. And I don't know if he had a play anyway, if he was able to field that ball cleanly.
Escobar hit it in the hole in just the proper place. Iglesias has excellent range, and he's got quick hands. Had he caught it cleanly, it might have been a play at second base, but I got to give him a hit.
And it is. And Escobar's first today. Whit Merrifield singled on an 0-2 pitch in the first inning. He is 1 for 3. Strike over the inside from Chad Bell.
The way this game's going, no lead is safe. Get him while you can.
Whit was one of the hitters I mentioned earlier who's done really well against lefties this year. And 2 great pitches, and it's 0-2. You know, he doesn't have a hole in his swing, so there really is no explanation why he has struggled against righties this year. Good balance, good level swing, good approach, but under 200 against righties and over 360 against lefties. It might be the same answer that you got from Miguel Cabrera last year when you said, why are you struggling against lefties?
I don't know.
I mean,
yeah.
If you ask Whit, he might say,
that's right.
I don't know.
And he may not even know that, although the hitters know a lot more about their stats nowadays than they ever used to. But he's not worried. He'd like to pick up. He'd like to pick up his average with runners in scoring position, and he'll have to wait for another chance.
That's Bell's second strikeout, and now Jorge Soler with 2 on and 1 out. And as we promised earlier, it's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment.
Boy, I'll tell you, the way he's heating up and as strong as this young man is, he's going to accidentally hit 20. And then he could hit a lot more. He's got such a good eye. Pitchers are going to realize they got to come to him. They're not going to try to get him to chase. And in spring training, he looked like he was chasing a lot of right-handed sliders. So he's been able to make the adjustment and lay off of them.
Trying to tie him up inside, and it's 2-0. His home run is the second longest home run at Kauffman Stadium this year. Second only to a Matt Davidson home run, one of his 7.
I thought Trout's might have been in there in the snow.
3 balls and no strikes. Moustakas is on deck.
So you know what else is going to happen? You get these lefties or righties going to try to tie him up. They don't want to get his long arms extended. As when he does, he'll hit one out in the patch right there. They're going to try to get him inside, but what happens when you try and you miss? He gets you. You leave it out over the middle of the plate. Sometimes you try too hard, it don't work. Like this one here. Okay, good spot, but he eyeballed him.
And a good spot for Mike Moustakas with the bases loaded and 1 out. He faced Chad Bell last inning and lined out to right field. So, Rhea Luttrell. The bases are loaded in our Sonic Slam inning.
Oh, Rhea. You got to like your chances with the leading home run hitter on the Royals at the plate.
He had a home run rip. 0-1. Same pitch, same result. 0-2. Gordon singled, Escobar singled, and then Bell got a 3-pitch strikeout against Merrifield, and then Soler walked. One ball, 2 strikes.
Alex Gordon at third base. He came all the way down the line about halfway because the third baseman Candelario is way off and got the attention of Chad Bell, the pitcher, and of McCann, the catcher.
And McCann goes out there to have a chat with Bell. They just announced that Miguel Cabrera left with a right hamstring strain. He had missed the previous 3 games with a bicep spasm, but this was his hamstring. 1-2 on Moustakas. And we'll do it again.
Chad Bell obviously not afraid to throw the changeup to Moose. He did first pitch. Got a couple pitches there on the inner half. Sinking fastball. Going to try to get him with a breaker away. Got a feeling. See what Moose will do. He's not afraid to take a swipe at left field, but with a sonic slam and all those Royals on the bases. Ooh, tried to turn and burn on some upper 92.
That'll be deep enough to get Gordon to the plate. Martin makes the play. He'll play it to third. And Moustakas drives in a run. And the Royals have another 2-run lead.
Okay, nicely done. The way to get him on and get him over and in. Something the Royals haven't been able to do recently, but they are now. They're starting to heat up and getting those runners in. That's a breaking ball. Moose went with it. Yeah, he wasn't going to try to pull that and swing and miss or hit a ground ball. That's the kind of hitter Moose has become, a complete hitter, and it was timely for him.
Pitching. And the kids are enjoying an 8-6 Royals lead. Warwick Sophold comes on. He inherits 2 on with 2 down, and will pitch to Salvador Perez, who has hit a 2-run home run and a double.
Opponent's only hitting 212 off of him. 63% first to batter efficiency. That's good. He's got some good stuff. Low to mid 90s sinking fastball, slider change.
In the dirt, ball 1. The Royals have led 2-0. They have led 4-2. They have led 5-3. They have led 7-5, and now they lead 8-6. Escobar's at second. Soler's at first. And the 1-0 to Salvi. 2 balls, no strikes. Getting a reaction by putting the make noise sign up on Crown Vision is like shooting fish in a barrel.
Better believe it.
Home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez ran out to the mound with James McCann, and he said that is not a visit. So a catcher can request a visit to go out and make sure that they're on the same page when it comes to the signs. 2 balls and 1 strike. So the umpire has to go out there and be witness to that to make sure that that's all the conversation was about.
I like Manny hustling today, showing that hustle out there.
Two and 2. Salvi yells at himself for chasing that pitch.
He's in pull mode. Why wouldn't he be after earlier in this game ripping a nice 2-run homer, his second on the year? Pulled it to left field.
Three and 2. This time it says crank it up on the screen. That's what the kids are saying these days, Hud.
Okay, thanks for letting me know. How about crank it up, dude?
No, that was more during our day.
Okay.
The runners go, and Salvi takes ball 4, and the bases are loaded again.
All right. So she still has a chance to win.
Rhea Luttrell.
Rhea
sweating it out in Wamego, Kansas.
We're pulling for you, Rhea. Another shot, and this guy Lucas Duda could do it. He's got the pop. He's got to get something elevated. Got a nice breeze behind him too, Rhea. Nice little breeze blowing to right field. All he's got to do is get it airborne for you, and it'll be a cha-ching evening for you.
Base hit center field. Escobar scores. Soler scores. And the Royals have their biggest lead of the day. And Lucas Duda has driven in 4.
Good swing. Lucas Duda, this is what you want to do. And that ball's 3 inches off the outside part of the plate. That's what I'm telling you. Widen it up, widen the plate up. You see those runners out there, go with it. You don't have to have a ball right over the plate to hit it. Let it stretch out your zone, Lucas, and have an afternoon. Fantastic. And more Royals hitting with runners in scoring position. A welcome sight.
Lucas Duda had gone 13 games without driving in a run, with driving being the operative word. He walked with the bases loaded in Boston, so he got an RBI, but he hadn't driven in a run in 13 games, and he has driven in 4 today. 1 in the first, 1 in the 5th, and 2 here in the 6th. 2 and 1 on John Jay. He has an RBI. Pretty good swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Royals are 5 out of 10 today with runners in scoring position, and the Tigers have been good as well. We're not even done with the 6th inning, and we've already seen 16 runs and 24 hits.
There was still plenty of game left.
Pulled on the ground to Hicks. He'll take it himself, and that's the inning. The Royals bat 8. They have tied their season high with 10 runs and lead by 4. Both teams are piling up the runs. The Royals have 10 runs in the first 6 innings. The Royals have 12 hits. The Tigers have 12 hits. Both teams have done well with runners in scoring position. And the Royals have home runs from Salvador Perez, Alex Gordon, and Jorge Soler. Lucas Duda has driven in 4 runs today.
Well, that's nice.
Kevin McCarthy stays on for the 6th inning. Ed Yost brought him on hoping for a ground ball double play, but he got a line drive double play. We were telling you that when he pitched on Tuesday, he faced 9 and retired 9 against the Red Sox. First Royals reliever to do that in 5 years. And now a line drive to deep left field. John Jay taking a good route. Retires John Hicks, and there's one down in the 7th inning. All right, let's revisit our sprint trivia question. And once again, HUD has all of them.
Well, I don't know. I'm guessing, but this is an easier question.
We
than
saw
we've had.
one yesterday, Mookie Betts, and then we saw on the screen from our showstopper, Edwin Encarnacion. We witnessed one here on opening day, Matt Davidson.
Okay, the other two are the testers, and I remembered the early one was, I'm thinking, first one of the year. I don't know the name of the team. I don't know this guy's team, but it's Villanueva. And I wasn't sure about his first name either. Got to get his first name. Can you help me on that?
Maybe he doesn't have a first name. Maybe he's just Villanueva.
No.
You also
first week.
You also suggested A.J. Pollock.
I'm guessing him. I knew somebody.
Is that
in
an
Arizona.
official guess, A.J. Pollock?
It depends on what if you have any more you want to guess.
I've just learned. I'm just your secretary.
No.
During this.
Now this is an answer. A question that we can get.
Well, how do you feel about A.J. Pollock?
I think we should guess.
Is it A.J. Pollock? It is A.J. Pollock. So we have 4. And the other guess is it that guy on that team from earlier in the year?
Yeah.
Is it him?
His last name is Villanueva. Go with it, and I think we'll hear it. The professor will be happy.
Called third strike on McCann. They need a first name, Hud, and maybe even a team.
Okay, I played against a Hector. Oh, I got a hint.
You got a hint?
Yeah, I did. Christian. How about that? Huh? There it is.
It's your world. We're just living in it.
Thank you again for giving us one that we can guess. That wasn't 25, 30 years ago.
Moustakis blocks it and throws out Iglesias. So McCarthy, after the 3-run bottom of the 6th inning, has a 1-2-3 7th. In a row. And his scoreless top of the 7th inning is just the 4th scoreless half inning today. 4 out of 13 have been scoreless. Tigers have scored in 4 of their 7 innings. The Royals have scored 5 of their 6 innings.
This is great to see the fellas getting the hits and getting their averages up. Especially 5 for 11 with runners in scoring position is a nice mark that'll make their manager, Ned Yost, happy.
Two and one on Cuthbert. He is 0 for 3. He is the only Royal without a hit today. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3 of his last 4 hits have been home runs. Got it in the air to left field. Jones at the wall. Just had enough room. It didn't sound great, but with that win, Chesler still got it to a wall and left. 1 down in the 7th.
Still felt good. Sappo with a, see that sinker, how that runs in? You can tell lots of times by the sound. Sounded good, just not good enough. Now, next week at Camden Yards, that's 20 rows back.
Not as far as you hit it, though.
Believe it.
2-0 on Alex Gordon. He hit one a mile to right field in the 4th inning. The Royals have 2 long home runs today. Almost 2 identical landmarks. 1 to right field, 1 to left. Both hitting high up into the fountains on the green side wall. Two balls, 2 strikes.
But the fact that Alex is getting the singles, and you mentioned it before he hurt his hip, he's getting the singles to the opposite field, a few up the middle, then the home run comes. It's a byproduct of a good single swing. It just happens later. Feeling much more confident up there. It looks a lot better.
And he has a 3-hit game. Alex Gordon is hitting .303 with a 3-hit game today.
Simple adjustments is all it takes, and you know what? Sometimes it takes more. Now that's a changeup, but he's been really good on the changeups. Look at him reaching out. But before he starts, now I'm going to show you where his hands are. He's pushed his hands away from his body. During the last couple of droughts that he's had hitting, his hands have been up close to his chest, up close to his body. He's pushed him out now. It's freed him up in there. He's able to go with the pitch a little bit easier. Just a matter of a few inches, but that's what I've noticed.
Now that would make some sense because he did have some hits where he just looked like he was tied up all the time.
Yeah,
he's a lot more free and easy now.
Right, he was bound up inside. Looked like his elbows and arms were all a little bit tight.
Iglesias backpedals into center field. 2 down. Escobar is 1 for 4. Create moments you'll remember forever with the Royals Memories program. Download the MLB Ballpark app to choose from several options that give you exclusive behind-the-scenes experiences, like an opportunity to take your photo on the field dressed in your Sunday best when we salute the Negro Leagues on Sunday. For a full list of experiences on the Ballpark app, download that MLB Ballpark app today. Whit Merrifield is 1 for 4 with a first inning single. One ball, 1 strike. There's Tim Hill. He is warmed up and ready to go. Just making a pitch here and there just to stay loose, but he's warmed up and ready. In the 8th, the Tigers have Machado, a right-hand batter, Martin, a left-hand batter, Candelario, a switch hitter, and if anybody gets on, Nico Goodrum, not Miguel Cabrera, who came out for a pinch runner in the 6th inning. So Ned could run McCarthy out there to face Machado, a right-hand batter, or he might just hand the ball to Hill with a 4-run lead. We'll see.
How about Alex drawing a throw over there? He does have a steal this year, but he bluffed a bunt. I mean, an attempt to steal there early in Merrifield's count, and it drew the attention of McCann.
Back to the middle. Saupold got a foot on it, and Iglesias grabs it out of the air and throws out Merrifield. Royals may check it, and Ned says no challenge.
Yeah, it's a foot save and a beauty. Not so sure Iglesias would have caught it, but look, sure did help it. Deflected.
Jeff Montgomery, and on the pregame show, Monty said even with the series loss, felt like the team was getting close.
Yeah, you could tell in Boston starting to swing the bats a lot better today. Those 10 runs, 13 hits, you got to like it. We'll be talking about Alex Gordon now being a 300 hitter too.
Alex Gordon at 300, Lucas Duda doing his thing, Jorge Soler, that and much more on Boulevard Royals Live. Look at this, guys. I even have the Soler ball. Yeah, it says spring training 2018. But I know HUD's jealous. We got a baseball, guys.
Better believe it, Goldie. I am baseballless up here today, and I do miss my fiddlestick. Glad you got one. I know it wasn't the one you missed over there. You butchered earlier in the game. You had to go digging for that one in the bush, but you got one. Way to go.
Woo.
So it's Tim Hill to face Machado, Martin, and Candelario.
He's a sidewinder, no doubt about it. 237's all they're hitting off him. He's coming inside there. Now that's one of the things that he's been working on, staying out over that front side, able to execute his pitch inside on the hands. Slider, changeup to go along with his fastball. Like to put a little sink on it.
Shallow left center field and down for a hit. Machado has a 2-hit game. And now Tim Hill will get Leonis Martin. Down and in, ball one. Martin's been on base 3 times. He has 2 hits, a walk, and he has scored twice. Got it in on his hands. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's a base hit to left field. And it's also 2 hits for Martin against lefties today. Martin was just 2 for 24 against lefties when the game began. On Saturday, the game will be on FS1. That'll be game 3 of 4 between the Royals and the Tigers. And coverage begins at 3 p.m. on FS1. Fox Sports Kansas City tomorrow and Sunday, FS1 on Saturday.
Fans, they're hopeful that they'll be able to see Cabrera. You don't know. He left today's game with a little hamstring issue, but I know that Ned Yost won't be bothered if he can't make the lineup.
Candelario is 1 for 4 with a 2-run double. No balls, 2 strikes. And that double came as a right-hand batter against Skoglund. Eric Skoglund went 4 2/3. He was charged with 5. Scott Barlow gave up a run in 2/3 of an inning. And then Kevin McCarthy an inning and a third, scoreless. 1 and 2. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Royals bullpen still has the highest ERA in the major leagues, but that is starting to settle somewhat. And in the last 11 games before today, that bullpen ERA is about 3.5. Overall, it's still over 6. And Hill gets a strikeout. That was like a Bugs Bunny swing right there, where Candelario almost corkscrewed himself right into the batter's box.
Nice job from down under. I mean, that's Laredo territory. Good location. You're right. Spun him like a top.
And that'll bring up Nico Goodrum. He came on as a pinch runner for Miguel Cabrera in the 6th inning, and then got doubled up on a line drive to short. He started taking off for third base, and Alcides Escobar threw over to second for a double play. Nico Goodrum is a switch hitter.
He can run. It'd be tough to double up.
1-1. Two and one on Nico Goodrum. Now, we saw his big league debut last year in early September, coming up with the Minnesota Twins. after spending a long time in the minor leagues. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, he's ready. The kid, he's put in his time. It's time for him to be a big leaguer now. He can play anywhere you want him to. Great athlete, and can add a lot of value to a team. Good speed.
Last year was his 8th year in the minor leagues when he was called up in September. Just down and away. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Chance for 2. And Escobar instead will look at third. I thought Witt might lay back and try and field that ball standing on second base.
Yeah, Whitley's going to turn to the board and watch the replay and see if indeed he had that opportunity. There it is. The ball's kind of wants to take him to the base, but Goodwin would tell you how fast he is. There's no way you're going to get him.
So Hill gets 2 outs, and he'll depart with 2 on, and Blaine Boyer will face Nicholas Castellanos. At the K, and a nice crowd, 28,866, most of whom are here for school day at the K. Got a nice weather demonstration from Mike Thompson and the Fox 4 weather team before the game. This is the 20th school day at the K, and now we're seeing some of the school buses making their way out of Kauffman Stadium. They get the kids back home.
Yeah, fantastic. The Royals could just hold on.
Blaine Boyer goes right at Nicholas Castellanos and gets a fastball at 93 by him.
And that's what the veteran does. Slowly but surely the ERA's coming down. He's starting to hit his spots a lot more than he was early in the season. Sinker, slider, changeup. He's not afraid.
To the line in right field, Soler across the line, slides, and he didn't get it.
Like that effort. Yep, he had made a beeline for it, just inches away from his glove.
A 3-pitch strikeout. Boyer gets Castellanos, and the Tigers strand 2 in the 8th inning.
Got to go.
Today, and in particular in the Northwest, Ichiro Suzuki has announced he is transitioning to the front office with the Seattle Mariners, so he will not return to the active roster in 2018. 3,089 major league hits. Over 4,000 professional hits, if you include what he did in Japan. And I mean, when you start to look back on his career, yeah, it's pretty remarkable. It's very remarkable. First of all, he began his career with 10 straight Gold Gloves and 200 hit seasons.
Amazing. And to me, that is sad news that he is not. I thought he would play at least 50. I'm bummed to hear that today. What a unbelievable addition to the Hall of Fame he will be. First Japanese born. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. No doubt.
All the way back to his first year in the big leagues, 2001, he was MVP and Rookie of the Year.
Wow.
Most hits in a single season. Woo! 2-2 on Soler. 262 hits for Ichiro Suzuki. Gosh, that was 14 years ago. American League record for consecutive stolen bases. Only major leaguer with 10 consecutive 200 hit seasons. Most hits in major league history for a player born outside of the U.S.
Yep.
Soler is down on strikes. And now one down in the bottom of the 8th. Kelvin Herrera is getting ready for Jacoby Jones, John Hicks, and James McCann in the 9th inning. Upstairs for ball 1. Back with a changeup. 1 ball and 1 strike. First time the Royals as a team have seen Johnny Barbado. Lucas Duda faced him prior to today, and that was last year before he became a Royal. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He's got a good fastball, low to mid-90s, an outstanding curve. You got Soler to swing at it, changeup.
Two and 2 on Moustakas. He has scored twice and driven in a run today. The Royals scored 5 against Tigers starter Mike Fiers. They scored 5 against Chad Bell. Warwick Saupold pitched an inning and a third scoreless, although a couple of runs scored when he came into the game that were charged to Bell. Nice sliding play by Machado. Boy, that is a long way for the second baseman to go out. Of course, he was in shallow right with the overshift, but you rarely see an infielder make a play way out there.
Yeah, I thought that was going to fall for Moose. Too bad. Good try, though. He put it in a good spot. You see him took his eye off the ball one time. Ball's coming back as the wind pushed it. That would have been fair. Nice sliding catch over the shoulder. Not routine.
A little strange writing pop up to second on that play.
Identical plays.
Machado's all over the place. 3 up, 3 down for the Royals in the bottom of the 8th. Kelvin Herrera comes on with a 4-run lead in the 9th.
He had that blown save Tuesday night in Boston, first run of the year allowed. And I asked him about his process after something like that. And he said, against Boston, I made my pitch. I executed it. Not sure how he hit it out. And we came back. So no worries at all. You move on easy. But he said that when you don't execute your pitch and you lose, he said, the first thing I do is I go back and I look at video. I try to learn from my mistake. And he said, I'd be lying if I went to bed and it still wasn't bothering me. But by the next day, you move on, you turn the page. He said, what I really like is to be able to get back out there the next day and face the same guy that beat me. He didn't have that opportunity. Kimbrel did against Alex Gordon the next night, but interesting insight there from Kelvin Herrera.
Into right field, and Soler's having trouble with the sun for a moment, but now he retires Jacoby Jones. And to what Joel was talking about, a lot of that just comes with age and experience. Not that the blown saves hurt, But he knows you're going to blow a save every now and then. He also knows you're going to make a good pitch and you're not going to get the result you want. And the quicker you move on emotionally, the better.
Yep, it's amazing how quickly these players mature as players. One full long season and they'll start calling you a veteran the next year almost. So, but Herrera's been through a lot. He's been to the top of the mountain.
Nice slider. Hicks put a fastball swing on a slider. And a wide open right side, and Hicks just guides the ball for his second hit. He's on with one out. Ball bounced off the dirt in front of home plate like we were in Arizona.
Yeah, it had a little spring to it, but you know what? He didn't exactly scald that. But that was what you call a CNI hit. I'm sure that he's not going to break any StatCast records with exit velo. But he'll take the hit.
Strike one on McCann.
Escobar fill up that fastball, that strike zone with fastballs, mid to upper 90s, slider change.
Oh, and 2. And now Herrera goes with a slider and he strikes out McCann. So we throw a good slider to Hicks and another good one to McCann. He calls it a slider, but that's got more of a curveball tilt to it.
Sure does, and it's tough to hit. Great pitch, good spot for it.
Jose Iglesias has 2 hits today, and he's driven in a run. It's been a good day for the Royals bullpen. Eric Skoglund, similar to Danny Duffy yesterday, got off to a terrific start. And then the Tigers scored 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and 2 in the 5th. 1-1 on Iglesias. And Skoglund went 4 2/3 innings. And now the bullpen, with 1 out to go, has given up just 1 run in 4 innings. Barlow, McCarthy, Hill, Boyer, and now Herrera.
Nicely done. It'll be interesting to hear what Monty has to say about him at the post-game show. Get his opinion.
Boy, he likes that slider today.
It's nice for him, I'm sure, to have a 4-run lead to work with. He doesn't have the pressure. But they want him to finish it.
And he got Iglesias to chase the slider. And Iglesias waves the bat at Salvador Perez after the final out. And Salvi's still staring him down. what that was all about. I guess Iglesias felt like Herrera should just lay it in there for him in a 4-run game. But anyway,
yeah, interesting.
The Royals win today 10-6.
And a nice one at that. You kidding me? The bats came out. The hits with runners in scoring position. The bullpen to win. Nicely done, especially in front of the adoring young people here on school day at the K.
They were having words before this pitch.
Wow. Interesting. How I don't think I've ever seen that before, you know. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, that's not the first time Jose Iglesias has done something questionable on the field. Anyway, the Royals have won 4 of their last 6. They've won 3 in a row at home. They beat the Tigers today 10-6, hitting 3 home runs. And one of those home run hitters today is standing by on the field with Joel.
Well, thank you very much. Alex Gordon, again, one of the home run hitters for the Royals a couple of nights ago in Boston, again here this afternoon. Is there a feeling that the offense top to bottom is starting to get into that groove and that rhythm?
Absolutely. I think hitting's contagious, and right now, you know, a couple guys were getting hot. Soler, you know, Moose has been hot all year, and having Sally back's huge. So, you know, just up and down the lineup, guys are swinging the bat well, having good at bats, and it's, like I said, it's contagious.
It's a quick turnaround travel last night, the storms, and then you're back here today. But just to be able to set that tempo in the first inning and keep on tacking on, how big of a difference was that today?
Yeah, it's never easy, you know, flying in and then having a day game the next day. But, you know, we toughed it out and put together a good game. You know, a lot of offense today, but we came through at the end.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what Salvi's doing right now. He looks like a mad scientist on school day at the K. There's some for Moose. Go ahead, Gordo. Cold and orange Gatorade for Alex Gordon. I guess that leads me to my final question. When we're seeing the Salvi splash, we're seeing the offense, we're seeing the bullpen, just the difference and the ability to have fun out there when you're winning.
Yeah, you know, we had a tough first month, but we've kind of put that behind us and starting to play a little bit better now. So, you know, hopefully we can get in our role here and get things rolling. So it's good to see you right now.
Stay hot, keep it going.
All right, thank you.
Alex Gordon swinging a strong bat, up over 300, guys.
And as he said, it's a new month. It's a good start to a new month. Royals are 2-1. Alex Gordon, Salvador Perez, and Jorge Soler homer in a 10-6 victory. We'll be right back.